Welcome back. It is still BDTV, where we give you that which you need to help you see clearly and get your business on the road. FCCPC, again, FCCPC summons Airpeace over alleged non-refunds and cancelled flights. Obi urges Tinubu to visit Niger flood victims, says all lives matter. All right. So welcome to the social listening part of BDTV, where we analyze top trends on social media. My name is Onyeka Valentine, in case you don't know what now you know. And joining me, I'm not alone, I've got Mr. Obidike Okafor, one of our in-house analysts, and today we'll be following up on the news of, by the way, welcome Obidike, before I jump ahead. Hope you had a nice day.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into this before I continue. All right, so we'll be following up on the news of Airpeace and finish up with what Peter Obi has to say about Tinubu's visit to Benue State. Now, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has officially summoned Airpeace after the incident with Senator Oshomole and for several complaints of non-refund of ticket fares and even in cases where the airline cancelled its own flights. In a formal notice dated June 13th, the commission ordered the airline to appear before it in Abuja on June 23rd. According to the FCCPC, this violates the section of 2018 Customer Protection Act and guarantees prompt refunds when services are delivered. Now, the agency is also demanding specific documents from the airline. I took my time to outline that so you know. Now, this move has triggered conversations online. All right? So let's see some of those comments on X before we go straight up to talk about it. All right? So this one here says, Airpeace has been doing these illegal businesses many years, and it's time that it catches up with them. And that's from Alexis O.A. He says Airpeace. Okay, let's go to the next one. It says here Odogu says, that's Odogu Ugonwane, says they should hold them well. All right, Airpeace has become notoriously bad in that without apologies. Let him sack his booking managers and every other thing. We don't know if we agree with that, but our job here is to stay on the fence. All right, so that's from Odogu. Do we have another one? Let's see. Another one here says, that's from Abraham Irowode. He says, the issues raised against Airpeace shouldn't be the reason you should throw the baby out with the bath water. All right, that's some traditional what they always say there. They say don't throw the bath water and the baby away because the baby is dirty. All right, so it says this airline has represented the country well. These are operational issues that can be cleaned up. We need the services of the airline to sustain local travels. Mr. BDK, we know that when it comes to these issues, right, you throw in the right words to analyze these things. That one is of no doubt. But the question now is, do you agree with what's going on there? Do you think we should just say, okay, airline, slam me with one serious fine or something when, truth be told?
I think the problem is, this is the problem. The problem is, when you really look at it, Airpeace has some level of monopoly. They are like the major airline. They have airlines. They have planes going to almost everywhere in Nigeria. And because of that, sometimes they don't even know when they are raising their shoulders. When you feel they are the alpha and omega and the beginning and the end of airplanes in Nigeria. Because check it, Airpeace is the only local airline that goes locally, travels outside, and they travel to virtually like major states in the country. Most airlines just have selected states, but Airpeace takes like almost every major spot. So when you have that kind of attitude, things tend to slide off without maybe even noticing.
Pride takes control.
Pride takes control. I think for me that's really what it's all about. Airpeace has entered the pride stage where they begin to look at themselves too highly, that they begin to forget the main reason why they exist in the first place, which is the customers. So that's why I just feel, because think about it, the airline will cancel, not the person. The airline will cancel and not refund. How does that even make sense? It makes absolutely no sense. If you're canceling on the person and maybe the person is going for something important and the person will miss it because you've cancelled, you need to think about the psychological effect of that. So I think it's important that the airlines need to humble themselves. They need to humble themselves and need to come off their high horse. I agree people might cancel on the airlines and all of that. So if whatever it is, they might say, okay, because you canceled on us, we'll give you only 50% of the fare back, not the complete money. Or whatever it is. Or if they feel you've canceled like 10 times or something, they say, okay, we're not giving back any money. Simple, because of the inconvenience and all that. But if it is the airline that canceled, full refund. Because the people were hoping you will give them a service they did not get. So for me, it's simple and it's plain. Airpeace, you come off their high horse.
All right, so Airpeace, come off your high horse, says our international analyst, Obidike. Boy, Obidike, there's something I want to say again. You know, there's like the other X message that we saw. It's difficult to say tweet and X, isn't it? So, kind of contradict. But so the other message that says, look, that they've been delivering before now. Now, as broadcasters, we kind of stay on the fence. This way we have those who say nay or yay, those who say for or against. So to play good and bad cop, if they have been delivering all along, right, and this hit comes once in a while, seldomly, should we hammer them like this hard enough? Or do we just say, let's allow this pass? Not because they were not going to raise shoulders, but because now we are seeing that it is a personality, a government official of that level that was involved. Is this the reason why we are seeing the government weighing down on this? If it was an ordinary person, will they truly act quick and swift?
I think in this country, we always try to paint things. The only reason why it seems like they are acting is because it's Senator Shomale that's involved, so they are trying to show.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I think that's what it is. It is what it is, and that's exactly what it is. Because it was Shomale that was involved, and he made a ruckus about it, and it was all over social media and all of that. But when you really think about it, if it was me or you that it happened to, trust me, this thing is not nice that happening. It has been happening for a while. But because it hasn't happened to somebody that
of that level
or that influence, that's why it hasn't really come to fore. But now it has come to fore. I'm hoping that we don't do it like every other thing we do. Just sweep it under the carpet. They will make noise for a while. Everything will die down.
Back to normalcy.
And then everything comes back to normalcy. And then next week, Airpeace will go about cancelling people's flights and then go back to normal. The problem I have is that most of the time people are always too comfortable with things. People are okay with it. People more, and then move along. But I think now that it is now in limelight, people should begin to come out. People should begin to complain. Airpeace don't get me wrong, Airpeace are really trying. They've done a lot. They've done a lot of international flights,
which brings me to my next question.
Yes. So I'm not condemning them true and true, but that's why I said I just feel that maybe it's beginning to get to their head.
I think I would agree with you a bit. Also, I want to stay on the other side. And to start with that part, I would say, yes, maybe they've allowed, success to get into their head and forget about the saying that goes, she stoops to conquer, something like that, or head below shoulder. Those are our traditional sayings like they always say. But with that in mind, we begin to ask ourselves a question, which is this, right? Whatever happened to our national carrier? Because we started seeing this cancellation of flights, delay refunds, or if refunds at all, when they launched and started going international, right? Or has there been issues locally before they went international? But however, what about our national carrier? At some point, we know they launched Air Nigeria. That's after Nigerian Airways, RIP. So you're thinking now, let's assume our national carrier worked very well. Will there be a monopoly of market the way we are feeling it now? The question might be no or yes. But whichever it is, so we should just hammer them and say, look, you've learned your lesson. You must learn your lesson now. since your shoulder is now higher than the head, you know.
No, I think for me, national career is a forgotten issue. Nobody talks about national career.
It's a bad thing, isn't it?
Nobody cares about national career at this point. But the bottom line is, air peace is like a national pride.
Right.
Nigerians are proud of
how
like air peace has gone. It shouldn't be like that, but trust me, Nigeria is a unique country. We do a lot of weird stuff that doesn't even match anything, and that's just the way we are. But bottom line is, I think they should be punished, not severely, but they should be, so that it doesn't look. Let them not get off too easily. Right. Maybe that will help, calm them down, and then make them like sit down, take stock of everything and move forward from there.
Well, now I see why you're not the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Because if you were, I was just kidding, don't mind me. All right, so you've heard what he had to say there. Issues surrounding that matter is matter that is still unfolding. On the 23rd, I hear there's still, the matter still goes on. So let's move on to our next story. All right, So now the next story says Peter Obi, right? 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, like you know him very well, is urging President Bola Tinubu to show some concern for flood victims in Niger State, I beg your pardon, as he has for recent massacre in Benue. Now, like you all know, it has been a serious issue, but again, he went on to further explain. He says, look, while we welcome Tinubu's plan to visit Benue, most definitely, Obi pointed out that floods in Niger claimed over 200 lives. It was a big issue. Seeing that your loved ones will just wake up one morning and then you see their dead bodies. Meanwhile, you saw them alive the day before. All right, it's a serious national, problem we have to deal with. So he went on to say, with many more still missing yet, there's been no visit or direct response. Although we hear that the president is supposed to visit those areas today, Wednesday, we'll see how that unfolds. Now, his message is that every Nigerian life does matter, okay? And should be taken seriously. We have some messages on X. Let's see exactly what our people had to say there. But even at that, okay, let's quickly see. This one here says, that's from Dr. Jallo.was. These names sometimes they come in very strange ways. Dr. Jallo.was says, hypocrisy is when Southeasterners cry louder over deaths in Plateau and Benue and other regions, yet turn a blind eye to the bloodshed, lawlessness, and economic ruins unleashed by sit-at-home madness and terror in their own Igbo land. He says, clean your house before morning another. He even tagged Peter Obi. Wow. I'm sure OBDK is going to weigh on this one heavily. All right, so the next one, it says, by Hamal, says, again in Pidgin English, you want to make my president shuffle Mokwa and Macaulay so that arthritis go. Maybe we should drop that one. That's quite sarcastic, but that's fine. So the next one here says, as Akere Yejo, right? Akere Yejo kind of sounds like Akere Delu, but Akere Yejo here says, maybe PO should apply for the job of SGF so that he can tell the president where to go and where not to go. Do we have another tweet on that? Or rather, another message? Another one here says, well, this one, we don't know if it's truly him, but it says, he will go to Niger next. Obi told him to go to Benue, and he is in Benue. Obi has his remote control. That particular handle, we know is not Peter Obi, but then again, you know how these things are on social media. OBDK, I know you're easy to reply to the first one. Oh, which other one? You don't have
the bottom line is
right.
This. President Tinubu has, I don't know, maybe because he's busy or maybe because Asorok is far away, maybe he doesn't hear what's going on. I don't know what it is, or maybe his advisors are not telling him the truth. I don't know what it is. But it makes absolutely no sense that when the flooding happened in Mokwa and over 200 people died, nothing, it was just the usual, eventually it was just the usual statement of, you know, we'll see what we can do and all those kind of my
Always
condolences.
the case, see what they can do.
And all those kind of my condolences, etc. And then the Benue killings have been going on for a while.
And this is not a natural disaster.
And it has been going on for a while, where human beings go to meet other human beings where they live and begin to kill them. For what reasons, we do not know. They say it's headsmen and farmers, but I think we've passed that headsmen and farmers stage. There's more to it than meets the eye. Right? And the president, I think one of the reasons why the president has not really reacted is because, like I said before, I don't know who is feeding him information, but whoever is feeding information has told him that it's just, you know, normal clash, simple headmen, and they are not agreeing with farmers and all of that. So they made light of it. And it's not a light matter, it's a heavy matter.
It is 200 plus lives.
When people carry guns and kill over 200 people.
Cut you. Did you see the video? Again, some certain videos are not TV worthy, right? They're not TV worthy. But if you saw the video and the, will I say recording or short documentary or short, whatever you want to call it, expose, that very dark man did, where he recorded what really happened in a particular home, you could see how human beings were burnt, you know, beyond recognition.
It's terrible.
It's heart-wrenching. He was actually almost crying in that video that he made.
So I think for me, I agree with Peter Obi, who says that every Nigerian life matters. And that's the honest truth. And the president is, whether he agrees or not, is responsible for every Nigerian life, especially
the father of all.
And especially in national situations like the flooding in Mokwa and the killings in Benue. He's the chief security officer of the country. So he's responsible for the security of every life on a national level. And then on a state level, you have the state governors, etc., etc. But the bottom line is this. I'm sorry, he hasn't shown any, as a president, he hasn't shown any sensitivity
to this interest.
To this, I've not really seen empathy. I know people say Peter Obi is being political, but whether it's political or not, I don't know. I can't say for sure. But from the side of the president, I've not really seen any empathy on any of them, whether it's the Mokwa or even the Benue one that he said he will come, because the first statement he made was he will clear his schedule. Most places where they kill 200 people and kill this thing, not 5 people, movement. Not 10 people, not 20 people, you drop everything and you come. That shows empathy. That alone, that action alone. Sometimes empathy might not necessarily be saying how sad you are. It's by the actions you do. You dropping everything and leaving, they will know that you take the lives of people as priority. Not yours, it's not word of mouth, but action. Right.
Not just word of mouth, but action. We see the pictures there. You see people, you know, in sober reflection. You see, look at the level of, you know, that's supposed to be like mass grave that's about to be covered. I mean, just look at that. Look at that. You begin to wonder, where are we going to as a nation? Fellow Nigerians, we pray, like we always say, lack of a better term, as much as we don't want to say, let's pray it gets better. Rather, let's say, let us act on time so it doesn't happen again. And I think it's high time we move out from that angle of saying, let's pray, pray, pray. I'm not saying prayer is bad. Prayer is good. But you see, prayer without action, like they say, well, nothing comes out of it. Anyways, we hope we'll be able to give more light to this particular segment. And of course, giving you all the insight of the stories. When we started, we spoke about, you know, the issues surrounding Oshomole and air peace and how it is escalating very rapidly. And of course, we've touched the area of the killings in Benue and spoke about other areas, flood victims and everything, and why it's important that our CNC, Commander-in-Chief, visits on time and show empathy. And don't forget, that light was thrown in by, you know, former presidential aspirant Peter Obi, mentioning that the president should go there and go check other things. And of course, you saw those on social media, what they had to say. Some said for, some said against, right? And it couldn't have been complete without having Obidike in the building. Obidike, thank you so much.
Thank you for
I hope
having me.
we did some great justice to this particular segment. We always see you here back on forth. But what are you doing after now? Lunch?
I can't say.
You can't say. He always comes with his great smile and his great humor. All right. So thank you so much. Until next time, don't go away. It is still BDTV. My name, Onyeka Valentine. Stay with us. We assure you, if you want to start your day with Business Day.